Oh. I don't have much energy today, but I'm here to try to program. I think I'm going to try this. I think I'm going to try to add some basic collision for the vulture and the player, which means a couple things. We have to detect collision, then we have to check the X to determine whose joust is higher. If they're the same, we need to reverse their dx, and if they're, if the other one is higher, our player needs to, the enemy is higher, our player needs to turn into an explosion and disappear. And then if our player is higher, our vulture needs to turn into an egg. But I'm definitely not gonna figure out the egg today, but I'm gonna see if I can figure out the player explosion. So look at this. When we detect a collision and a vulture is higher than our player, we need to turn our sprite into this plus, then this explosion 1, and then this explosion 2, and then turn into nothing. So yeah, I want to say let's look at this. Five by 5 is a plus. And then explosion 1 is 9 by 9. And it's like a star. With a pixel on every edge. And then (13 by 13). Okay. So we're gonna be my biggest concern right now is if we detect a collision, we need to draw the plus first, but since the plus is a different size, I'm kind of thinking that I'm thinking if we keep the same aspect ratio of our sprites, we can draw, basically, like, I want to be able to say, draw this plus at the same location as what our ostrich used to be at, right? So we need a 16 by 24 sort of deal going on, so that we can draw it at the same X position as the ostrich, and it will be in the center of our ostrich's body, like where it should explode out, kind of towards right here, like kind of where the player sits on the ostrich. That's where the plus is going to be. So I'm going to open up a sprite. New file. We're going to go 16 by 24. So I guess 16 doesn't really have a perfect middle, so we're gonna have to pick where we want the middle to be. But if we want 1, 2, 3, no, it's 5 by 5 is the, so there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. Okay. So is that the center? Is that the very center? I don't like that it's not the center, but there's no center of 16. You know, that's pretty close, but it's either this one or this one, right? Let's just go with this for now. We'll save this as I'm going to save the sprite file. Then I'm going to export as a PDF. I'm going to export as a PNG in our oopsies get joust source pics, and this is going to be explosion 1. And then I'm going to make sure that exported, because they didn't export that one time. Explosion 1. Yep. Okay. So now I want to do a new, or like a, can I duplicate this? Sprite 1. Oops. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna try to, in my desktop, just references, clone, really? Where the heck is explosion 1? I saved it right here. Did I not? Here. Okay. So I'm gonna copy paste that. This is explosion 2. Gosh, sorry guys, I'm tired. I'm like, it's not gonna be a super long episode. That was really cool. Yeah, so there's no perfect left and right position for that plus, but I'm gonna make a new layer, and the new layer is gonna be, what color was the explosion in that original? It's like a green inwards and white outwards. I'm gonna see if I can get the same sort of yellow from this one, so that we've got some color palette consistency. I for eyedropper, give me that color. then, okay, nice, it's here. So it was green inwards, white outwards, we said, right? And it was 9 by 9. So if I don't think it was exact square like that. It's a star. So that means the corners are in by 1 or so. So something like that with the white pixel on the outside. Something like that, yeah. Yeah. And then that's good for explosion 2, I guess. Gonna save it. We're gonna export as a PNG, not in this folder, but in our git joust source pics. Explosion 2, yes. Yes. Okay. And then in our joust pics, we should have an explosion 2. Yes. Okay. And it's just hard to see because it's so tiny, but okay. So the reason we have the 16 by 24 is so that we can draw this explosion at the same exact X position of our ostrich, and it will put the explosion in the correct place. Otherwise, since the first frame is 5 by 5, which is like right here, right? 5 by 5, the X position would be here, and then on a 9 by 9 it'd be here, and then on the 13 by 13 it would be here. So I'm just trying to save myself the headache of trying to shift the X and Y position and just draw it consistently at whatever the current player one's X and Y position is. So that should make things a bit simpler. Okay. I'm gonna duplicate our explosion 2. Save it as explosion 3. Open it. Now the explosion 3 is now 13 by 13, right? Not able to, oh, there. Doesn't really help me. Okay, whatever. This thing is 16 by 24. So 13 would be 13 would be what? So if this is 9, that's 10, this is 11, 12, and 13. So the end of our black is the 13 square, and then so we need our black to become the outmost white part with 1 inward. Okay. So look, we're gonna do, that's the final one. Then instead of being there, it's there. Instead of being there, it's there. Instead of being here, it's here. Instead of being here, it's here. Now we want our eyedropper. Then we can turn this off. Then we can draw the explosion part. 3. Okay, does that look good? That looks about right. Okay. So I'm going to save. I'm going to export as PNG, not in this folder, but in our fix folder, explosion 3, PNG. Export, yes. I want to see, make sure I exported. And then yep. Okay. So I guess the other way we could have done this would be to do a whole atlas, right? And then shift the viewport. Then we'd only have to input one new drawable. But then we have to do viewport logic, so I guess, I don't know, it's just like, pick your poison. Wow, I'm just really tired. Okay, we're gonna try this. I guess first steps first, which is to import new images. We're gonna say explosion 1, explosion 2, explosion 3. Then they're all gonna get the path to their appropriate. Did I capitalize it? I did. My other ones aren't capitalized, so I'm gonna capitalize it. Okay, so explosion 1.png. Okay, we're gonna get explosion 2.png and our explosion 3.png. Okay, so now we've got them as drawables. So for right now, we only have a side collides with a collidable parameter. So look, like right collides with a collidable, but we're only running that right collides and left collides on okay. So look, we're only running the left collides function and the right collides function on a parameter called platform, which is a looping value through a table that we currently have called collidable platforms. So we're going to have to check for vulture collision instead of platform collision. So what's great about our side collide function is that oh, you know what, we're gonna have to redo this. We're gonna have to add an enemy collision function, because our current function incorporates the buffer, because we need to be able to fall off the platform when we walk off of it. Well, yeah, we need to fall off the platform when our feet don't appear to be on it anymore, which is why we need that buffer zone. So we are going to have to change that. We're just going to have to add another function for that just checks true collision instead of this buffered platform collision. So yeah, we're gonna have to write another function, and then we're gonna have to use that function on not only just the vulture, but every vulture, right? Even though, I mean, you know, we only got one at this moment, but there will be more than one at a time, so we have to do something similar with that we did like with our collidable platforms, where we give ourselves a table, we populate that table with every object of enemy, and then we cycle through all the enemies and check for both left and right collision. And if the x's are equal, we swap their dx, and if player is higher, we turn enemy into egg, and then if enemy is higher, we turn us into explosion and disappear. Okay. Oof. You guys, I'm sorry, I'm not really feeling up to getting started on all that right now. At least we've got a game plan for next episode. I'm just out of it today. I just couldn't focus, and I had low energy all day today. But you know, I worked on it today, so you know, it was getting late, and I was like about to just go to sleep and not do this, and I said, you know what, let's just get something done. So I'm glad I got something done. So we're gonna have to create new function for true collision. Then I'll put like no buffer zone as like a reminder for me. And then loop through each enemy and run that true collision function if same height and then reverse dx if player higher, turn vulture into egg, if vulture higher, turn player into explosion. And then we'll eventually have to add our lives, give our character lives, and then we'll decrement our live upon a vulture wind collision, and then we'll have to add points at some time too. God. Yeah, I just have got no energy today, but we've got a good template for next episode. We know what we're trying to do. We've got the sprites already made for it. We might want to try and consider doing the sprite atlas for the explosion and just worrying about the viewport settings for that. But I'm not exactly sure if we should do that just yet. I guess what are the problems for that? Like, if we do the atlas, we only have to import one picture. Then in our render, we would just say set a timer and increment the viewport every X amount of frames, shift the viewport. That would be pretty easy. But if we do it the way we're currently doing it with 3 different pictures, we'd have to say upon a collision, render the frame, and then we'd have to say render the frame explosion 1. Then we'd have to say do that timer and say if X amount of times pass, then render the other picture. So it's kind of a comparable amount of work. I guess I'm gonna side with doing these individual pictures because that way we won't have to worry about that extra pixel of emptiness in between the sprites for this, which I feel like just gets things more confusing. That's still something I'd want to fix in the in our ostrich class, because if you look at our rendering logic, so we start by setting that viewport to be that 1, and then here this is the ugly part. So it's like setting it to its 5th frame, but its 5th frame needs 5 bonus empty pixels, and then same with the 6 needs 6 shifted, 4 needs 4. So it's just kind of ugly, but it gets the job done. So it's not a huge deal. And then one thing I wanted to mention is that coming up soon, I did a code jam 2 years ago, or a game jam rather. And that same channel's doing another game jam in a couple days here, and I signed up for it. So in a couple days, I'll be taking a couple, I think maybe a week off of Joust, but I'm planning on streaming my game jam progress for this game jam. He hasn't released the alert just yet, but I'm pretty sure it starts on like the 25th or 27th or something. So it's coming up soon, and then it goes for like a whole week. So I'm gonna try to do that and stream the progress on that, because it might, it's just cool to do a community game jam, because last time I did it, I made a little game and then I submitted it and got some comments and some reviews and feedback and whatnot, which was really cool. So I think that's a good thing to do. And then, you know, it'll get me making something different than Joust for a little while, which can stretch my brain in other ways. And then you can watch me as I make something from scratch, like completely from scratch, and we can design the all the ideas and everything, and then I can show you how I kind of start these Lua projects and everything. But yeah, I think I just got not much energy to do much of anything else. Okay. I'm gonna git add all with a message saying added explosion sprites and imported as drawables. That's all we did today. I mean, we made the sprites too, but not a very productive code a day. And then git p for pushing to our origin main branch. Okay, well, I didn't miss today, even though today was a little lackluster. But we've got a good game plan going forward, and I'll see you tomorrow.